Welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you are a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hey, my leaders out there. It's Erica, and I am just so excited and humbled to be here. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to connect with me. I have to tell you, this podcast has been life-changing for me in so many ways, but mostly because of all of you. I have just done 2 back-to-back events, one in Texas, and now I'm in Miami, and just getting to meet listeners in person. The hugs, amazing. The stories, the laughs, the tears, all of it. Really, truly has just, working with people and being with people has always been my calling. And this platform and allowing me to share a little bit of my life with you and your life with me, and all of us being, vulnerable and honest and having real conversations about, the good stuff and the bad stuff in our field, and maybe just leadership in general. So I wanted to take a minute to let you know how truly grateful I am, and how much you guys all mean to me. Sometimes you might wonder, like, can I text another child care director and say, what do I do when my lead teacher I feel like is low-key gunning for my job? Or how do I lead my team when I'm younger than half of them and they don't take me seriously? Well, today I'm reading your minds and the DMs that you have sent me. And these are the 5 most asked leadership questions that I get. And you know what? I'm going to pull 0 punches, because I'm going to give you the truth and the strategy, and maybe, and a little bit of my Italian attitude, but, leadership is hard enough without sugarcoating it. So let's get into it. Here's a question. How do I lead someone who clearly wants my job? Well, first of all, good, because you want ambitious people on your team. If someone is showing you that kind of drive, then you're doing something right in your program. But let's be clear, there is definitely a difference between ambition and undermining. So start with observing the behavior. Are they truly ready to lead, or are they creating division? And if it's healthy ambition, then consider giving them a micro leadership opportunity, like maybe mentoring a new hire, or leading a training, or managing a classroom transition. Let them see the reality of leadership, the systems, the stress, the parent phone calls at 10 p.m. If they really want your job, they'll either rise to the occasion or realize the director's chair isn't as cushy as it looks. And, it's funny because we have some assistant directors who have recently moved into the position, and they were like, leadership is hard. And we're like, yeah, yes, it is. It can be fun, but it can be hard too. And you want to just make sure that their ambition doesn't turn toxic, like talking about you behind your back or challenging every move you make, because then it's time for a heart-to-heart. Not confrontation, but clarifying conversation, like, I see your leadership potential, but I need us to be on the same team while you grow. And set those boundaries and expectations clearly. And don't forget to document it's leadership, not friendship. Second question I've gotten is, how do I earn respect from a team when I am younger or less experienced than them? Oh, girl, this has been my life. My life. My first job in management, I was 16 years old. I was a manager of my uncle's bakery, the nighttime frosting crew. Yes, you heard that correctly. I moved through several sales positions, always the manager, always a leader. Manager first, learn to be a leader later. but always in some type of a responsibility role. And again, at 22 years old, in charge of a furniture store, definitely was the youngest person there. And I did an amazing job, but it took a little while for people just to know like you knew what you were doing. Sometimes it takes a little less time if you're very transparent and you let everybody know their role, and of course in a kind way. But it's really, really common, especially in the last few years with the transition of many senior teachers and directors leaving the field and new folks coming in. But it's especially when you're promoted internally and you come in as a young director, because let's keep it real. Respect is earned through consistency, not age. So you don't have to have gray hair to lead well. I've had both gray hair and not gray hair, and I lead the same. So it's not the color of your hair, honey. It's your heart, it's your impact, it's your ability to have people follow you and the influence you have over them and the trust that they have in your decision making. So stop by getting really good at the basics, like show up on time, do what you say you're gonna do, and treat everyone consistent and fair. And avoid the stupid trap of trying to prove yourself by doing everything. Delegating is a sign of confidence, not weakness. And when you're unsure, ask and don't be afraid. Say, I value the experience here, what's worked best in the past for the team. And let the seasoned staff be seen and heard. And that actually elevates your leadership. It doesn't diminish it. So make sure that you're including their wisdom and not disregarding it, but letting them know that you're going to make decisions based on all the information you have and your experience as well. You also need to set a professional tone, like dress for the role. Please don't come in your PJ pants and cow pants and flip flops and all the crazy things that people wear now. And I know we work with kids. I'm the first one to put on a good pair of Nike sneakers and pants that have a little give when you're getting on the floor, But you have to be able to dress for the role and communicate clearly and proactively. And don't fall into the buddy trap. Your team needs a leader, not a best friend. And you know what? Don't get too stressed about it, because I have found that trust grows over time and with action. So be steady, stay gracious, and let your character do the talking, because that really will make a difference. And they will respect you. Um, let's see, here's another question. How do I set boundaries with staff without feeling like the bad guy? That one's a hard one. It really is, because everybody wants to be liked. At the end of the day, you are responsible to do a job, you know? So you're not a villain for having boundaries. You're just a leader who wants longevity. And that means protecting your energy and your role. And boundaries, they don't make you cold. They do make you effective, though. So here's what I learned. If you don't clearly define the line, people will cross it. And let me tell you, people have crossed my lines many, many times. Not just when I was young, but also when I was older. Um, so you have to really make sure that people know where your boundaries are. And it also gives a healthier culture. So stop modeling the boundaries you expect. For example, if you're not answering non-emergency texts after hours, don't respond to just this once. Put it in writing. Speak about it in meetings and enforce it gently but firmly. And this is something that I talk with a couple of my directors about, because they will come to me and be like super stressed out. Can you believe she texted me at 9 p.m. and that could have waited till tomorrow? And you're correct. It could have. So, but you were the one who didn't let it wait till tomorrow and you responded. So don't feel the need to over-explain yourself. Really, you don't need to justify rest or protect your time that when you're not on the clock. Like, that's your time. So protect it and try this. Like, to keep my focus and make the best possible decisions for the team, I need this space to recharge. Boundaries are a sign of self-respect and organizational clarity. It's not about being mean. It's not about being, confrontational. It's about being sustainable, really, because we all know you can get burnt out really quick. This is a high energy, fast paced decision making job. from the minute you walk in the door. Let's tell the truth, right? And if you're an owner, it's like you feel like it's 24/7, right? In the middle of the night, and the pipe bursts, and all the things that happen. Your alarm goes off. Yeah, so don't feel bad about setting those boundaries. Another question that I often get is, how do I coach someone who's great with kids but struggles with adults? Yeah, that's a good one. Childcare whisperer or kid whisperer, an adult disaster situation. You've got magic in the classroom, but chaos in the team meetings. Well, the first step is to acknowledge their strengths with children, right? Start every conversation there. Like, you have an incredible gift with our little ones. And never use the word but, because then they never hear the first part. You got to shift gently. To grow in your career here, you'll need to develop your communication with your peers too, and frame it more as a leadership pathway, not a punishment. And recommend maybe some training, maybe some role playing scenarios, or even someone on the team that can maybe mentor them on how to give and receive feedback. Often these folks, they struggle with the adult interaction because they've really never been taught those skills. Like, think about it. When you did all your child development classes, we weren't really doing like adult development. We were learning, children's ages and stages, and, what to do during a tantrum. But did anybody teach you what to do when the 20-year-old has a tantrum? Probably not. Treat them like you would a child, scaffold their growth. And if they're open, you've just created a future leader teacher. But if they're resistant to any interpersonal development, then you'll have to assess, and can we grow from this? Is the person the right person for the position? Or is the behavior causing more harm to the team dynamic? And if it is, well, then the hard conversations come next. Also, here's a great one. This one comes from a childcare owner who looks like they are ready to maybe move out of the day-to-day and move someone up into help run the school. And it says, how do I know if someone is ready to be promoted? Well, not every great teacher is ready to be a great leader, and that's okay. Promotion shouldn't be a reward for time served or good behavior. It really should be based on readiness, on their mindset, and mission and alignment. So sometimes it's internal and sometimes it's not. And sometimes there's a transition in between. Maybe it's you have somebody in your team that's been with you a long time. They're interested in leadership. You want them to be leaders, but maybe they're not 100% ready. So maybe you get somebody for an interim and you hire them as an interim. There could be some type of a transition there. But start looking at how they handle accountability. Do they own their mistakes? Do they speak up at meetings with solution-oriented ideas? There's nothing worse than a leader who always is just like, that won't work, or the eye rolls, or the, comments under the breath. Those are not leaders. And then, can they take feedback without being defensive? Oh, that's a tough one. And as I get older, I have found that working with people who are difficult is no more in my wheelhouse. I don't want to do it anymore. If you're hard to work with and I'm the owner or I'm the leader, and you're that way with me, how are you with the rest of the team? So if you're not handling that stuff really quick, you're doing a disservice to your team and probably losing your best players out the side door. But to me, those are leadership green flags when they do take accountability. And just observe how they influence others. Are they a positive peer model? And do others naturally follow their lead? And we have quite a few folks that that don't have titles at my school, but they just are natural leaders. And then you want to test the waters, stretch some assignments like mentoring a new hire, anything that you maybe think could be the next job to give them, to see how they handle it, or ask them, say, what would you like to learn in leadership first? You can do that. You can do that too. But watch not just how they do it, but how they handle doing it. And lastly, talk to them about their career goals. If they want to grow and they're coachable, then start the journey intentionally. And if they don't want to lead, that's okay too. Leadership is not the only path to impact, right? So here's my closing thoughts. If you're leading a child care team and you know this truth, Every day brings a new question, a new challenge, and a new opportunity to show up better than you did the day before. There's no perfect formula for leadership, but there is a powerful combination of self awareness, brutally self aware. I love Gary Vee. I know he's not for everybody. He talks about being self aware so much. And I hope that you're self aware. And if you're not, really look inward and just really think about how do you want to lead your team? What impact do you want to leave, not just in work, but in life? In life, because you could change jobs tomorrow, but in life, what is the impact that you want as a leader? Look at your communication skills. And are you courageous enough to make decisions and making decisions that get better with practice? You don't need to have all the answers to be a great leader. You just need to stay willing to learn and stay humble enough to ask questions and strong enough to make the hard calls when you need it. Your leadership matters and it shapes your team and your program and every child who walks through your doors. Speaking of leaders, I'd love to give a shout out to our sponsors at Jackrabbit Care, who are there to help you with your back end of your program to make sure that you have the time that you need to lead, to mentor your team, to take care of your families and children, or perhaps you're moving into like this last person's question. Maybe you're moving into a different season in your life where you're maybe stepping away from the day to day and you want to make things simpler for your team. So if that's you, hop on over to Jackrabbit Care. There's a link in our show notes. There's a link on our website. So sorry. And let them know Erica from the Child Care Director's Chair sent you. So that's it for today. I hope you have an amazing day and keep sending in those questions through our text the show option. I think this is a great series that we can do questions straight from you guys. You can also send them through our Facebook leadership group as well. So send me questions however you want. Email, I'll answer. So until next time, which will probably be tomorrow, we'll see you on the other side.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Child Care Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sakosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.